I've now spent 2 months messing around with the Pixel 7 Pro, and as someone who's stuck with the 6 Pro, this has already been a far more reliable experience, but it hasn't been without a few glitches here and there. The display is still excellent, basically unchanged from the 6 Pro. We still enjoy the fluid 120Hz refresh rate, able to crank all the way down to 10Hz to save on battery. We do get a sweet 25% peak brightness boost though, helping outdoor viewing at the expense of battery, which I'll circle back to later. My favourite display change is with the curve being far milder than before, which really makes the device feel comfortable in the hand and gives me no touch sensitivity issues along the edge like the previous model. Around back, and I still like the camera bar, but it's really started to get scuffed after only 2 months, even considering it's been in a case most of that time. I do like how it merges into the side though, and it does look fancy. Performance has been excellent, not seeing much in the way of slowdowns with normal use, helped with decent optimization and that chipsets have had plenty of power for a while now. Animations look great and fluid, the interface is clean, and Android 13 runs well. I really love many of the little Pixel features, from the device being one step ahead when you connect a speaker, to identifying ambient music with now playing, and the multitasker, able to select text and images you wouldn't ordinarily be able to, which is great for bypassing many apps' poor object selection, or just getting quick translations. Gone are what I would call any deal-breaking bugs, and while far better than the first 2 months of the 6 Pro, it hasn't been without fault, which I'll quickly round out. I've had the proximity sensor glitch once, causing the screen to turn off when my hand hovered over the top right of the screen, over the sensor. I've once had the screen go completely unresponsive when opening the widgets menu, and a few times I still had the launcher fail to bring up the app switcher. Then the next time it comes up, it doesn't function properly. The fix for all of these was a quick lock and unlock of the device though, so it didn't inconvenience me for too long. I've had some weird RAM management issues, where background tasks like VPNs, sync apps, and AccuBattery get killed off quicker than they should, and that's even on the most recent December update. When running a Don't Kill My App benchmark for 8 hours though, it still came back at 100%. Lastly, the non-Android Auto Bluetooth connection to my Mazda 3 is rather poor, generally disconnecting at least once per trip, but other Bluetooth devices have been absolutely fine. Honestly, these are all pretty minor, one-off and a bit nitpicky that in no way soured my experience. Fingerprint performance has been solid from day one, but I have really loved using Face Unlock. Its implementation here is seamless, non-intrusive, and still lets you actually use the lock screen. It's also a nice touch that it simply changes the fingerprint to an unlock button as it recognises you, aiding in a fast, consistent experience. There was briefly an issue with Face Unlock and Google Wallet, but that promptly got a fix. Coming around to the camera, the best new feature is the 2x and 10x zoom, giving higher quality shots by cropping into the 1x and 5x lenses, giving a really diverse level of zoom to help frame the perfect shot, with 2x being my most used. It can be a bit disappointing swapping between lenses though. With varying quality, flipping around can feel odd as you start seeing an increase in grain and differing colours. It'd be nice to see future devices be more consistent in this area. I was going to rant about macro mode and how much I hate its auto detection, but a recent update has actually fixed that, allowing it to be toggled. So again, nice work on a quick update, Google. Something I have noticed with Google's photography though is while it does do a great job at keeping humans in focus, with plenty of extra smarts to avoid blur, it doesn't extend to our furry companions, with rather poor autofocus, often treating animals as background objects, especially if there are any traces of a human in the shot. But despite all this, it is still an excellent camera system that makes taking a great shot as effortless as possible. Rounding out everything is battery performance, and while my initial impression was that it felt worse than last year's model, In true Pixel style, once the adaptive battery works out your use, it does stabilise. One big difference though was outdoor use, mainly with Google Maps for navigation. A couple of hours wasn't too impactful on the Pixel 6 Pro, but on the 7 Pro, I did experience a reasonable drain. I expect this is due to the higher peak brightness and a reportedly less efficient screen. So overall, expect less if you end up outside a little. But otherwise, going through my Accu battery history, my pretty casual use landed at around 3.5 hours of screen on time, usually with 40% left in the tank after a 17-hour day. Great cameras, good battery life, and now no deal-breaking bugs. All paired with Pixel's promise of fast updates and regular feature drops. What's not to like? After a year of patches, it may not be worth an upgrade over last year's 6 Pro. But do check out my 2 comparison videos if you're on the fence, as it may just hit the sweet spot.